Minnesota in Minneapolis. It's our second AA quarter of the day as the Rochester John Marshall Rockets, the champions of Section 1 AA, take on the 4 AA champion Anoka Tornadoes. Now let's meet the team's public address announcer, Bob Reed.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the cheerleaders and the complete roster of both of these fine teams. On the scoreboard this afternoon, the visiting team wearing the light jerseys, the Section 4 champions, a record of 22-3, the Anoka Tornadoes. And the home team wearing the dark-colored jerseys, the Section 1 champions, a record of 24-1, the Rochester John Marshall Rockets. Let's meet first the visiting cheerleaders from Anoka. Kara Hubley, Holly Malenfant, Kristen Hadeen, Jamie Chenard, Missy Ketchum, and Jennifer Dobbinton, the Anoka cheerleaders. Now the home cheerleaders for Rochester John Marshall. Ann Bolton, Stephanie Decker, Marie O'Reilly, Sarah Strobel, and Jennifer Tischer, the Rochester John Marshall cheerleaders. Now let's meet the reserves. Starting first was the visiting Tornadoes, going in numerical order, wearing the light-colored visiting uniform, a 5'7" sophomore guard, number 11, Craig Davis. 6'1" junior guard, number 13, Terry Tank. 6'1" sophomore guard, number 15, Julian Cochran. 6'3" junior guard, number 21, Steve Cawley. 6'3" junior guard, number 23, Chad Roswick. A 5'10" sophomore guard, number 25, Eric LaCour. 6'3" senior guard, number 31, Mark Nelson. A 6'2" junior forward, number 41, Lane Johnson. 6'3" junior forward, number 43, Mark Poser. And a 6'7" sophomore center, number 55, Chad Beamer. Now let's meet the reserves for the Rochester John Marshall Rockets. Wearing the dark-colored home uniform, starting with a 6'1" senior guard, number 10, Tate Anderson. 5'4" junior guard, number 12, Mark Curry. A 6'2" senior guard, number 14, Brady Eubank. 5'10" junior guard, number 22, Ken Barrich. 6-foot junior guard, number 24, Brian Ryder. 6'4" junior forward, number 30, Chris Hale. 6'5.5" junior forward, number 44, Jamie Bjorky. 6'4" senior forward, number 50, Scott Konek. 6'4" senior forward, number 52, Jeff Van Stratton. And a 6'6" sophomore forward, 54, Brett Solheim. Now let's meet the starting lineup, alternating by team, starting with the guards. For Anoka, at guard, a 6'5" senior, number 33, Troy Beckman. For Rochester, a 5'10" senior, number 4, Mark Lovelace. At the other guard for Anoka, a 6'3" senior, number 35, Aaron Hatampa. And for John Marshall, a 6'1" senior, number 34, Craig Sears. At center for Anoka, 6'7" junior, number 51, Matt Adler. For John Marshall, a 6'6" junior, number 32, Brett Curtis. At forward for Anoka, a 6'5" junior, number 45, Brian Doty. Make that Doughty, Brian Doughty. And for Rochester, John Marshall, a 6'5" senior, number 40, Mark Swenson. At the other forward for Anoka, a 6'5" senior, number 53, Dan Novotny. And for John Marshall, a 6'5.5" senior, number 42, Ryan Hurt. The Anoka coaches, the assistant is Jeff Doughty and the head coach Dave Tank, the balance of the Tornadoes official party. And the assistant coach for Rochester is Monty Imming. The head coach is Jeff Wells. And the balance of the Rockets official party.
All right, public address announcer Bob Reed, and we're ready to go with our second AA quarter of the day. Tony Bartovich and Richard Cochran are our two referees in this tilt. With Jim Gilliland, this is Doug McLeod here on the campus of the University of Minnesota, where the Anoka Tornadoes, with a record of 22-3, are working up their 7th trip to the Minnesota High School Boys Basketball Tournament. They've been here starting in 1948 and have 2 AA championships to their credit in 1973 and 81. It's the 5th trip here for the John Marshall Rockets, who won the one-class tournament in 69. They've also been here in 73, 84, and 85. There are starting lineups, and let's take a look at a couple of guys who are going to make a lot of difference in this game.
Matt Adler there on the left, Mark Swenson on the right. Well, you could pick a number of players on both teams. These happen to be the 2 players leading their team in scoring. Swenson, the key man for the Rockets, and Adler, one of their big front line for the Anoka Tornadoes. Rochester a little up-tempo, Anoka a little down.
Rochester, John Marshall in the black uniforms as the first shot flicks over the top for Mark Swenson and off. And the Anoka Tornadoes, who won 19, have had a very solid start. I was going to start saying that Rochester, John Marshall won 19 straight this season before losing a late game to Mayo. A 5-game winning streak coming in. Here's a three-pointer that will not fall for Anoka's Brian Doughty. And back comes the John Marshall Rockets attack. Number 4, Mark Lovelace, off a fingertip, Frank Sears to the bucket, did not get it in. And Anoka will hit the brakes coming back.
There's Adler showing his stuff in the middle, and they are tall, tough team to get inside. Once they get set up in their defense, they play a zone. They try to go in there a little quickly, but Adler was ready.
One key to the Anoka Tornadoes' success this year has been size. They have an excellent rebounding team, and they get real good high percentage shots close to the basket because of their size. That one far away from the basket by Troy Beckman will not fall for 3. Beckman inside for Matt Adler, and that doesn't go. Underneath it floats up, and it floats in for Dan Novotny. And the first points of the game go to the Anoka Tornadoes, 2-0.
Now, Novotny is definitely the hard hat man of that front line. Adler likes to take the soft shot. And Doughty is a kind of a finesse player too, but Novotny will go get it for you.
Troy Beckman will spin it down to Aaron Hatampa. Hatampa number 35 to Dan Novotny in the corner. Setting. Doughty did not make it go, and as Sears goes for the rebound, he'll come down hard, and Craig Sears is injured. There was contact, and a foul will be called on Dan Novotny of Anoka.
Now here's Sears struggling to get back in it. There's a shot. Doughty takes the long jumper. He's 0 for 2 from that range. You see Novotny clipping him there, and it looked like he turned the ankle.
Mark Lovelace, their point guard, an all-state soccer player, a 5'10" senior for the John Marshall Rockets, brought it down. Here's Craig Sears, who averages about 8 a game, and away from the ball, they've got a foul on the John Marshall Rockets. Mark Swenson
Well, Swenson and Hatampa were really going at it down there on the block. I didn't see exactly what happened, but they were shoving on both ends, and Swenson did the part that got caught anyway.
So Anoka will inbound the ball. That is Troy Beckman, number 33. High pass in for Aaron Hatampa. Here's Beckman, who was originally a forward, is now the point guard of the Tornadoes and owns their single-season assist record with 194 assists coming in. Traveling now is going to be called on Beckman. Each team with one turnover here in the early going.
Anoka has gotten good shots against the Rochester zone. Good outside looks at the basket. Not shooting very well early. Novotny got the one rebound basket.
We played a minute 5 of the game. It is 2-0. Anoka leads. Rochester, John Marshall with the ball. Dark team is home team in this tournament. That floats up and off for Craig Sears, the senior guard. And now Anoka will work it back down.
You can really see them surround Swenson in that zone defense. They know he's a key offensive player, and they were making it hard for him on that end.
Troy Beckman and Aaron Hatampa work it up high. It's stolen by Mark Lovelace, and a foul is going to be called on Anoka. It's going to be on Aaron Hatampa, or rather it's going to be on
Doughty.
Brian Doughty, the junior forward, a third-year starter. That is his first and the team's first. And with 5:27 to go in the first quarter, there's a timeout on the floor. It's Anoka 2, Rochester, John Marshall nothing, and we'll be right back.
The Great American Oak Sale is now on at all 4 Bucks Unpainted Furniture stores. Choose from a huge selection of solid oak dining room furniture, as well as furniture for every room in your home. All oak sale priced. Buy a completely finished 42-inch solid oak extension table with 4 chairs, only $699. It's the Great American Oak Sale at Bucks Unpainted Furniture stores now. For the Bucks location nearest you, call the connection.
I'm not taking this. You take it. I'm not taking it. You take it. You take it. You take it.
To protect the environment, many communities are banning curbside pickup of yard debris. You need the MTD Chipper Shredder. It turns mountains of debris into small piles of mulch. Or try an MTD mulching mower. MTD mulchers recycle nutrients back into your lawn, and they'll never leave you holding the bag. MTD Yard Machines, the best buy on the American landscape. American made, American owned.
That's Jeff Wells, the coach of the Rochester John Marshall Rockets, and the Outstaters have a little bit of trouble getting assimilated here early. Duluth Central struggled, and it didn't seem to hurt them in the long run. They won going away from Eden Prairie, but Rockets haven't scored yet in 2.5 minutes of this one.
Rochester, John Marshall with the ball, and the shot won't fall for Mark Swenson, the senior guard.
Swenson did a good job faking the defender off his feet. Had a good look at the basket. He won't get many second shots against this Anoka side.
Inside, Novotny got it. Dan Novotny cans one for Anoka. The Tornadoes lead 4-0, and he has all the points in the game with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. John Marshall with the ball. This is Mark Swenson. Blocked and pulled back by Matt Adler of the Anoka Tornadoes. Backcourt pressure trouble as Adler tried to hand it to Troy Beckman, but he'll pull it back in.
Saw some of that quickness. The Rockets trying to shake it loose before they get to the timeline.
Here's the double pump by Doughty, and it falls, and it's 6-0 Anoka as Brian Doughty, the only starter back from last year, as Anoka lost 4 of its 5 starters, gets his first 2 points. 6-0 Tornadoes. Lovelace to power it inside. Hit the backboard. Underneath, Hurt going up, and a foul on Aaron Hatampa of Anoka with 4:19 to go in the first quarter.
We'll take a look at the Rockets going to the basket. You haven't seen this kind of size down in the Big 9 this year. I mean, they're just all over them with those long arms when they try to take it into the traffic.
Brett Solheim, number 54, is in the lineup now for the Rochester John Marshall Rockets, subbing Brent Curtis.
This is probably a good move for Coach Wells. Solheim, the sophomore, but the best shot blocker on the team. Really their best inside defender.
Here's another third-season starter. At the line, Ryan Hurt. That'll meander, and it's the first point on the board for Rochester John Marshall. 6-1 Anoka, 4:19 to go first quarter. Halftime of the Class A game going on right now. Minneapolis De La Salle is leading Clearbrook Donvik Trail 45-21. So 2 straight there for John Marshall, and the Rockets are on now, 6-2.
Scott Conan coming in now for JM, and he'll take his place in that lineup as we try to get everybody accustomed early to playing in the state tournament.
Okay, going to the bench early. Beckman for Novotny, and 2.
Well, you have to like the percentage shots Anoka's getting here lately.
Novotny has 6 of the 8 points. The Anoka Tornadoes have put on the board. Now 4 minutes exactly to go in the first quarter. Rochester, John Marshall, Rockets with the ball. Goal line for Mark Lovelace, the senior point guard. Swenson lets her go for 3. It is a tray for Mark Swenson, and it's 8-5. Rockets pull to 3. 3 minutes, 41 seconds to go in the quarter. Beckman dished it off underneath, but it'll go over to the John Marshall Rockets. That's the 3rd turnover for Anoka, unofficially to 1 for Rochester John Marshall.
Nice idea there. If that pass would have clicked, Adler had a layup, but Adler did not break to the basket as quickly as Beckman thought he would.
3.5 to go in the quarter. Rochester John Marshall's Mark Lovelace working the ball. Double team high, floats it for Solheim, up over the trees, count it. And also count the foul on Troy Beckman of Anoka. It's 8-7 now as Rochester John Marshall pulls to 1.
Solheim, watch the fake here. Boom, and he gets him off his feet, and Adler can't recover before he clips him along the elbow.
Matt Adler on the foul. And at the free throw line, a chance for 3 now for Brent Solheim as Ryan Hurt is in the lineup. Someone needs to leave. That'll be Mark Swenson.
I had a chance to talk to Lynn Olson, the Owatonna coach, last week at the girls tournament when their team was down and at Met Center, and he said, watch the Solheim boy from Rochester. He's a very good-looking sophomore, and so far we've seen that.
Chad Roswick, number 23, is in the lineup for Anoka. The field goal counts, and Brent Solheim to make it a 3-point play now and tie the game for Rochester John Marshall. It's 8 aside with 3 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the first quarter. With Jim Gilliland, Doug McLeod at Williams Arena in Minneapolis. Boy, it's a mental block to say Williams Arena. It used to be in on the other side, called it Mariucci. Williams. Big Ten guys go at it. Here is Beckman, and it'll drop.
There you see Beckman using one of his strengths as a 6'5" guard. He really takes it down there and posts up the little man. Gets an easy 2.
Conan down the free throw line, and Scott Conan as these teams trade buckets now. 20 points in the game, and each team has 10 with 2:47 to go in the first quarter. Turned back by Mark Lovelace. Kept it alive. Hurt underneath. Bingo! What a play for Craig Sears, but Mark Lovelace, the point guard, rescued that one.
Well, you're seeing some of that athletic quickness of the Rockets. They're doubling. They've got Anoka scrambling here.
Underneath, it's Matt Adler. Off the glass, no good. Underneath again for Novotny, but no. And back comes Mark Lovelace for John Marshall. 12-10, the Rockets with their first lead in the game. 2:15 to go, first quarter. Head fake for Sears, guarded by Chad Roswick in off the bench. Baseline, wheeling, dealing, Solheim off the iron, through his fingertips. Hauled down and covered up by senior forward Dan Novotny. Troy Beckman starts the Anoka Tornadoes back down with under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Anoka now trailing in the game, 12-10.
They've got to get this game back to a pace. It's more manageable for them. They try the lob inside, but Beckman trying to post up the guard. Can't do it. And Konak and Beckman now staring each other down.
1:47 to go. Rochester, John Marshall leads by 2. Physical underneath, and there's a timeout on the floor with a minute 47 rather to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back.
Particularly picky people do everything for picture-perfect soybeans. You pick out lamb's quarters, cockleburr, and pesky pigweed, and get pretty punchy pulling velvet leaf. Better you should tank mix Pinnacle and Classic herbicides from DuPont. The perfect combination to pulverize problem weeds. Pinnacle and Classic. The post-program picky people pick.
Of the 344 new cars and trucks being sold today, these are the top 10 sellers. And of these top 10 sellers, only one dealer can offer you 5 of them. Your Ford dealer. From America's #1 small car Ford Escort to its design leader Ford Taurus. From America's #1 selling compact pickup Ranger and sport utility Explorer to the world's #1 selling vehicle Ford F-Series. With 5 of the top 10 sellers available only at your Ford dealer, shouldn't you test drive a Ford today?
Anoka jumped out to an 8-2 lead, but now Rochester Jam, as you can see, back in the lead. And here's part of the reason why they've got that quickness. Watch the double team on the ball. Lovelace coming in from behind. They kick it loose, and then just an inch before it hits the sideline, he saves the ball, and it is kicked over to Ryan Hurt. And a nice pass from Solheim, and he converts. 12-10 Rockets, and they've got the ball.
1 minute 47 seconds to go in the first quarter. Halftime score in the Class A game in St. Paul again. De La Salle 45, Clearbrook Convict Trail 21.
Anoka's matched up man-to-man here.
Leaping, popping, Swenson dropping it, and is now with 91 seconds to go in the quarter, a 14-10 lead for Rochester John Marshall as the Rockets have come rolling back, but Anoka's Bozer wouldn't go. Top drop for Mark Bozer. Fast break, Swenson underneath, puts it up and in, and the Rochester John Marshall Rockets lead by 6. 16-10, 1:05 to go in the first quarter.
They're very explosive. They weren't doing what they wanted to do the first 3 minutes because obviously they've got a lot of jets on that team and they like to get out after it.
That's a team that likes to run, you know. People look at their size and they have some big players, but they like to run. They like to play full court all the time if they can. Fouls on Brett Solheim. That is his first.
Let's take a look here at the traffic. The double team now coming. Whenever there's a dead ball, and that's just solid coaching, they double up there and they call Solheim for being a little aggressive.
Last minute of the first quarter. Anoka with the ball, trailing by 6 points. Chad Roswick. Here's Bozer. Inside, Beckman. Couldn't post, and Mark Lovelace turns it back. Rockets rolling back down with 37 to go in the quarter. Brent Solheim. Swenson there for 3. A three-pointer to Mark Swenson. Played on the 91 Minnesota select team. All-Stater Swenson cans the three-pointer, and it's a 9-point lead. He has 8 points for Rochester John Marshall.
He and Dowdy of Anoka are both on that select team, so they're pointing at each other.
A Tampa. Guarded in the corner by Mark Swenson. Foul.
Foul's evening up a little bit there. They're going to call Lovelace.
6.8 seconds to go in the first quarter. 19-10. Rochester John Marshall leading. And Tate Anderson, number 10, comes in.
We had a timeout with under 6 minutes to play, and the Rockets hadn't scored yet, but they have 19 now. Very explosive team.
Indeed so. Handler off the back. No. Second. No. Tick through. That's the end of the first quarter as both teams went for the ball underneath. It has been an explosive second half of the quarter for the Rockets. And on our TCF scoreboard at the end of the first quarter, it's the Rochester John Marshall Rockets 19 and the Anoka Tornadoes 10.
My husband Mark and I planned on a lot of things. A nice house, sending our son to college, and a comfortable retirement. We didn't plan on his early death. Mark made a lot of promises.
Don't worry, Mom. I'll study hard.
And you know, he kept those promises.
Protect your family's dreams. See a Farm Bureau agent about life insurance. The Farm Bureau family. Our most important policy is caring.
It might look like Velveeta loaf, but it won't cook like it.
You may cook with some look-alike stuff,
but it won't cook enough like Velveeta.
They're thin, or they're pale, or they'll run.
At least they got the shape of the box right.
But Velveeta marches on over chicken and veggies so true. You know what it does for your fondue.
You can try some lookalikes forever, but Velveeta cooks better.
Well, they've kind of crossed their arms right now. He's got a good start there in the Anoka section, but it's kind of gone the other way here over the last half of that quarter. Rockets by 9. Tornadoes with the ball.
Here we go. The second quarter beginning. 19-10. Rochester. John Marshall in the saddle. Tampa puts it in for Anoka. Double teamed was Adler. And a foul is going to be called on Brent Curtis of Rochester. John Marshall. You see Curtis there, the 6'6" junior forward.
Foul situation started out badly for Anoka. They were 5-1 in Rochester JM's favor, but the last 3 calls have gone against the Rockets, so it's evening up there.
You see the way Curtis can fly there. He is one of their top rebounders, and he can really spring. Also a very good shooter. Shoots about 60% from the field. That is snatched back by Rochester. John Marshall's Brent Solheim. 7 turnovers unofficially for Anoka at this point in the game to 1 for the John Marshall Rockets. Early second quarter, it is 19-10. John Marshall Rockets with the lead of the ball. Ryan Hurt. Here's Tate Anderson. Spelling Mark Lovelace, the point guard. Anderson, number 10, is pestered by Aaron Hatimba. Anderson now with Beckman in his face. Floats it in. Wheeling. Solheim. Popped it in. There it goes. Little off-balance shovel from Brent Solheim, a sophomore. Working inside. Coach Jeff Wells refers to Solheim as simply a fantastic athlete. Got a good shot of it right there. Aaron Tampa now with the ball for Anoka with under 7 minutes to go in the half. Kept underneath. Beckman went up for the shot. And there's a foul, I think, on Anderson.
Well, he tried to go inside to Novotny, and he couldn't control it. But fortunately for Anoka, it bounced right to Beckman. There's a look at
the foul.
At Tampa, and Beckman and Novotny kind of collide there.
There was a foul.
Solheim picks up his second, which could be crucial because, as we pointed out, he's a great athlete and the best inside defender against that Anoka side.
Scott Conant, number 50, is in the lineup now for Rochester. John Marshall, Mark Swenson, and Mark Lovelace are back in. At the free throw line for Anoka, Troy Beckman will shoot 2. That makes it a 10-point game, 21-11. Rochester. John Marshall leading. 6 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the first half. 2 of them for Beckman. He has 4 points in the game, and it's 21-12.
They haven't scored since it was 12-10 JM, so they had a run of, I believe, 11 points before Anoka answers from the foul line. Now they get a turnover on the travel.
6:43 to go in the half. A little bit later on, we'll be returning you for more action in the Minneapolis-De La Salle Clearbrook Quantum Trail game. De La Salle leads by a bunch at halftime. Anoka's down. Novotny blocked. Novotny again on the corner. Launched it for Adler, but it's picked off by Mark Swenson of Rochester. John Marshall off the break. Curtis thrown off. Rebound almost to Adler, but it's pulled by Mark Lovelace. They go to the baseline. Curtis there, popped away, and Anoka takes the ball.
Beckman needs help, gets it back. So good exchange there. Real good hands on Rochester with the quicker hands, but Anoka, they are a very strong team.
Troy Beckman. Now here is Aaron Hatempa, the smallest starter. He's 6'3". Beckman off the rim. Lovelace, the flying rebound, and the John Marshall Rockets come back. Here comes Craig Sears. Lays it up and in. 5 minutes, 53 seconds to go in the first half, and that's enough for Dave Tank, the head coach of the Anoka Tornadoes. He wants timeout with 5:49 to go in the half. It's Rochester. John Marshall 23, Anoka 12.
Why do you get a great cut at Great Clips?
It's my reputation on the line.
At Great Clips, you get salon quality style without the salon price.
You're gonna get the best haircut possible.
Our specially trained stylists make the difference.
We guarantee it.
Need a little excitement in your life?
Hey! Hey!
Come in and play the instant win game during Great Clips' 10th anniversary.
Yes! Yes, 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 yes,
yes, yes, yes, your style.
What is it, Maggie?
Remember when I told you Toyota's having their spring sales event?
Yes.
People better hurry. It's almost over.
Toyota's Spring Drive sales event is still going strong, but it ends soon. Time is running out on huge factory-to-dealer incentives. There's still big option package savings up to $1,500 on Celica. Your Toyota dealer has what it takes to help you buy or lease the Toyota that's right for you.
Listen to Maggie. Sales event ends April 2nd.
I know what you do for me, Toyota.
Rockets have it their way. There's Tom Baumbach, an assistant at North St. Paul, looking on at the action, as many coaches are, of course, that weren't fortunate enough to get to this point.
And no relation, presumably, in the background, getting tuned in by telephone. 5:39 to go in the first half here. It is Rochester, John Marshall, 23, Anoka, 12. We'll get you back over to St. Paul for Class A quarterfinal action after this word.
Try and control the ball.
With players like these.
Forget the ball. Try and stay on your feet.
And a coach like this.
Anybody who coaches a girls' soccer team is completely nuts.
The Ladybugs need more than practice.
You're in a different time zone.
They need a miracle.
Why me? Why me?
Rodney Dangerfield.
All I know is I got a lot of balls.
Ladybugs, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, March 27th at theaters everywhere.
Who's going to give you a light-hearted chicken sandwich that weighs in at around 300 calories? Dairy Queen. Give you chicken the right way. Chicken the light way. Now just $2.19. A perfectly grilled, skinless, boneless filet of chicken. Highlighted with delightful reduced-calorie mayonnaise, tomato, and lettuce. Chicken the light way. Get it now for just $2.19. We treat you right. Dairy Queen.
City of Minnesota in Minneapolis, the site of the Class AA quarterfinals of the 1992 Minnesota State High School Boys Basketball Tournament. Outside, it's a cool windswept day. Inside, things are heating up. Welcome back. This is Doug McLeod along with Jim Gilliland. We are in the second half now, and it is a 38-26 game. Rochester John Marshall in the lead, but the three-pointer just jammed by Anoka's Brian Dowdy will narrow the margin a bit. Count that one, though, and we're trading. 5:33 to go in the third quarter. At halftime, it was Rochester John Marshall 34, Anoka 22.
Oh, he got about 3 for 1 on that last play, and a good break for Mark Swenson. He went barreling in there, knees up. It's hard to see from our location the positioning of the players, but he got the break, the bucket, and he'll go to the foul line. And Anoka now finds himself at disadvantage again. It was 12 at the half, and they had it down to 9 on the three-pointer by Dowdy. But back comes Swenson, who has been very strong for the Rockets.
Swenson with 14 points will have it at that. Now Anoka will bring the ball back. And this is Troy Beckman, number 33. Guarded by Mark Lovelace. Trying to scoop it underneath for a Tampa. It was tipped out of bounds, and Anoka will retain possession. In the lineup is Matt Adler, number 51. A 17.1 per game average on the season. Adler had a little trouble making him fall there early and then can't some late in the half.
Ryan Hurt made a shot over him right at the outset of the second half. Dave Tank didn't like it. Boom, out he came for a little chat. Now he's back in there. Adler is still the best they've got down low.
5:11 to go in the third quarter. It is a 9-point lead for Rochester John Marshall. The Rockets with the ball. Solheim tried to dish it off, retrieved by Ryan Hurt in the corner. Sets for three, but no. And the rebound dragged by Dan Novotny.
Novotny had 7 first-half rebounds. Very physical.
He's a good rebounder and seldom loses the ball. One of the very few you'll see come down and really cover the ball. It would not drop for Aaron Hatampa. He's down there on a scramble on the floor with Craig Sears for it, and that's enough. They'll call that a jump ball.
Woo, there's some action there. I think Anoka had a little chat there at halftime, down 12, about being out quick. There's no question the Rockets were getting the loose balls in the first half. Hatampa gets in there, makes a very nice move. It doesn't fall. Adler keeps it alive, and then boom. They're on the floor. 1, 2, about 4 players. 2 for each team, and that qualifies for a jump.
Straight wrestling tournament ended 3 weeks ago. Somebody gets the takedown there. 40 to 31. Rochester John Marshall with the ball with a 9-point lead. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Rockets Mark Swenson. Rockets keep it alive. Lovelace now hurt off the rim, and contact underneath is going to be a foul on Mark Swenson.
Well, there was a lot of contact on the play previous. Swenson got whacked as he drove to the bucket. Now, he was upset that there was no foul call there. Then when there's contact on this play, yeah, you can see he got called for shaking off at Tampa there.
4:18 to go in the third quarter. There's a timeout on the floor. Rochester John Marshall leads Anoka by 9.
Carrie Jacobson, she's fit and she's gorgeous. Drinks milk every day, every day. She says milk helps her look good. I say milk helps her look really good, really good. She says milk helps with shiny hair, beautiful teeth, great skin, and a healthy body. Definitely healthy, nice, trim, very nice. She drinks milk. She takes care of herself. She gets a lot of attention, but for me, she gets total attention. Milk, it does a body good.
Oh, no, the furnace is going.
What? Well, it's a bit nippy and...
Nippy? What are you, the weatherman? Well, you don't have to get rude.
Yes, you do. Energy-efficient Rude furnaces are quiet and reliable and help lower energy bills.
You want to get comfortable, get rude. Where are we going? I was just getting over twice.
To get comfortable, you gotta get rude.
This telecast is presented under broadcast rights of the Minnesota State High School League and United Television Incorporated. No rebroadcast or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this copyrighted telecast are permitted without express permission of KMSP-TV and the Minnesota State High School League. 4 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. It is Rochester John Marshall in the dark uniforms, 40, and the Anoka Tornadoes, 31. Anoka with the basketball and needs some points now at Tampa. Brian Dowdy. Out of bounds. Goes to Rochester John Marshall, and the Rockets' Scott Conant, number 50, will put the ball in bounds to Mark Lovelace.
Well, that was a set play. Anoka working that off the timeout, trying to work the high-low with Dowdy, passing to Novotny, but it got a little bit too tall for him and went out of bounds.
Tate Anderson with the ball now for Rochester John Marshall. Here's Scott Conant. Pestered and fouled by Anoka's Dan Novotny. That is 3 on Novotny.
Yeah, that's why he went to his knees there. He's not afraid of the contact or ashamed of the foul, but he doesn't want to get in trouble because it hurts his physical play, which is his strength. You see the arm riding on the back there was probably what the call was, and Jeff Wells and Dave Tank going about their business and trying to move on to the semifinals tomorrow night. Novotny comes out of the game now with those 3 persons.
3 minutes, 43 seconds to go in the third quarter. Score hasn't changed for the last minute and a half or so. It's still 40-31. Rochester John Marshall. The Rockets' Mark Lovelace, their starting point guard. Here's Mark Swenson, who has 14 points for John Marshall. Inside, blocking on Aaron Hatempa.
Well, ever since they've gone man-to-man, Hatempa's done a quality job on Swenson. Watch here, he's trying to get to the position, and he's called. Of course, he's still moving, but if they would rule that Swenson lowered the shoulder, it would be an offensive foul, but it goes against Hatempa, his third.
Inbounds pass now for Mark Swenson of Rochester John Marshall high. Brett Solheim is there. Puts it up for the lane, nothing. And out of bounds, it's going to go to Anoka. Tipped underneath somewhere. Troy Beckman will put it in for the Anoka Tornadoes. Bombs away. Mark Bozer. Fouled as he went to the basket by Brett Solheim.
That's the third foul on Solheim. You can see what they're talking about with his athleticism, as we know, as Jeff Wells mentioned in the pregame press conference yesterday. He had a nice between-the-legs move on the offensive end, didn't get the bucket to foul, and then timed it very well. The Bozer going up draws the foul.
Greg Sears is back in now for Rochester John Marshall. For Scott Conant at the free throw line for Anoka is Mark Bozer, a 6'3" junior forward. His first trip to the free throw line, I believe, for the day.
This quarter is much more to Anoka's liking. They've held JM to 6 points. They've got the game on a few whistles and stopping the play, and they're making a comeback. Down to 8 now. It was 12 at the half.
Anoka's big achievement so far this year was just getting past Mounds View. Last year, Tornadoes lost in overtime in the section final as Ziggy calls in his boys. The Tornadoes are 41-7 the last 2 seasons and have won 42 consecutive home games. John Marshall Swenson off the top and the rebound picked off by Mark Moser. Here's Troy Beckman now for Anoka on his 7th trip to the tournament beginning back in 1948. Three-pointer. Nothing there. And a foul on John Marshall's Craig Sears, who can't believe it.
Doty went to the deck, and he's going to get 3 foul shots. If that's what they ruled, that he was in the act. Yeah,
yes, it is.
It's Cochran making the call.
They'll give him 3. 3 opportunities as he was fouled trying to make the 3-pointer. It is 40-33. Anoka trails by 7 with 2:53 to go in the 3rd quarter, but a big free throw opportunity for Brian Downey to shoot 3. There's the first one.
Again,
8
another
points now.
Stoppage of play, and the Anoka fans sensing a little excitement here on their feet.
Missed the second one, and a 3rd opportunity coming now for Brian Dowdy, the junior forward. 3rd-year starter as a junior, the only starter back after last year's club lost 4 starters. Got 2 out of 3. Now with 2:53 to go in the 3rd quarter, John Marshall with the ball as his lead shaved to 5, and that's the closest it's been in a long time in this ball game. Rockets trying to get somebody inside. Curtis tapped away by Beckman out of bounds. And with 2 minutes, 38 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, there's a timeout on the floor with a score. Rochester, John Marshall 40, Anoka 35. We'll be right back.
Now, here's another great moment from past tournament action.
Billy, but he has an uncanny way of getting his shot off and fouling away, but still doing it with such great touch.
McDonald pops for the top of the circle. That's 2. Showing his
These great clips are sponsored by Great Clips for Hair.
Come into one of the 56 Minneapolis-St. Paul Great Clips. For the one nearest you, call the connection at 922-9000.
Our stylist, your style.
Contact herbicides only work for one day, the day you spray. But weeds can come back, so check out Banvel, the only post-emerge, no atrazine alternative that works from day 1. Spray it at spike for residual control of the toughest broadleaves, all the way to canopy, with no second flushes. So don't settle for one-day control. Get control from day 1 with Banvel.
Today's TCF triples $1,000 winning number is 72133. As you see there, you go into any TCF branch, you pick up a game card, and you could win the $1,000. Tune in tomorrow for a new number. Tournament triples brought to you by TCF. Banking the way you want it.
2 minutes, 38 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. It is Rochester, John Marshall 40, Anoka 35 with Jim Gilliland, Doug McLeod at Williams Arena in Minneapolis. Day 1 of the 92 Boys State High School basketball tournament coming to you all across the state and the upper Midwest. We're delighted to be with you. Mark Swenson for Rochester, John Marshall pots a pair. It's 42-37, Rockets by 7. He has 16 points in the game now and traveling in the backcourt. That is the 13th turnover for Anoka unofficially. Rochester, John Marshall has but 5.
Swenson comes back with a big jumper, stemming the tide, and then they get their pressure, their kind of game, a turnover game. And they're going to get Dowdy. He doesn't like it. Solheim is just starting on his way up, and he'll go to the line.
That's 2 now on Brian Dowdy. 42-35. Rochester, John Marshall will go to the free throw line with a 7-point lead. 2 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. He's talking about getting past Mounds View in the section finals this year, losing in the overtime last year, and they beat them 40-38, did Anoka, with 0.2 seconds left this year, which is as close as you can come without the issue being decided. Well, 0.1, I guess, but
Well, we saw Mounds View in the tournament last year.
Yep.
Of course, we see them frequently. Ziggy Collins does a great job. He had Jason Ekman and Mark Ronski, but usually good teams come out of it. Blaine had strong teams for years, too.
Brent Solheim is 2 for 3 at the line today and now has 6 points. It's 43-35, 8-point lead for Rochester. John Marshall, 2:11 to go in the third quarter. All alone is Anoka's Matt Adler.
Credit Beckman with that bucket. He avoided the double team. Well, he didn't avoid the double team, but didn't turn it over under great pressure. Found Adler alone.
10 points now for Adler. 6 points spread again. John Marshall with the ball. The lead. The bank shot doesn't go for Curtis. The end line.
A tough break for Bozer because he was there, collected the rebound, but must have had those toes on the maroon portion of the floor.
Again, you can see it much better than we can. A venerable and fine old building is Williams Arena, but the worst place to watch a game from 3 feet below the level of the surface. Now the inbounds pass will float in to Brent Solheim. Took his time and planted it fine. And it's 40. Now with a minute 43 to go in the third, it's 45-37.
Move Bob Knight would be proud of this. Yep. A ball fake there got Adler way up in the air again.
There's a driving shovel charge.
That's Bozer. So Solheim doing it on one end with the head fake and then getting in the lane. Pretty close there to after the takeoff by Beckman, but they rule a charge and a foul number 3 on Beckman.
Now 90 seconds to go in the third quarter. John Marshall with the ball, leading 45-37. And this is senior guard Craig Sears. Going inside double team. Floats it. Swenson there. Put it up over Dowdy, but it was short. Here's the second throw, and that will fall for Brent Solheim. He has 10 on the game. Now 47-37 and a 10-point lead again for Rochester. John Marshall with 1:09 to go in the third. Underneath, it won't drop for Bozer. Second time through.
Anoka's kind of caught in no man's land here. They've got to catch up, so they need a little quicker tempo. Yet if they go too fast, it's right into the Rockets' hands. They're going to have to play tough defensively here. They have an interesting strategy here. They did this at the end of the first quarter, too. They pull the ball out, and it looks like they're going to go for one shot. But in the first quarter, they didn't. They kind of lulled Anoka to sleep and went in and got a quick bucket.
With about 20 seconds to go or something like that, as I recall. Surprised everybody.
Lovelace's a very clever ball handler, but this time, maybe for real, he's going to work it all the way down. He's watching the official to see if he's counting for the 5-second held ball there.
Now the count will begin. Here's Lovelace.
Oh, Beckman thought he had it tipped loose.
Sears for 3, but no. 5 seconds still left in the third quarter. Big trap, out of bounds, Anoka.
Smart play by Beckman. Still have a chance to get a long-range shot off, and wouldn't a three-pointer here bring the Anoka section to their feet.
Dan Novotny is back in the game now for Anoka after some work by Mark Bozer. Novotny again playing with 3 fouls. As is Aaron Atempa. The person with 3 fouls for John Marshall is Brent Solheim. That is the end of the third quarter. And the score. Rochester, John Marshall, 47. Anoka, 39. State Tournament 92 continues in just a moment.
You're not a kid anymore. You must be kidding me. You look 10 years younger than you're supposed to be. You've got smooth, soft skin, bright, shining eyes. Drinking milk every day, well, that's no surprise, 'cause milk tastes delicious. You're not a kid anymore. And I'll tell you what's more. You're not a kid anymore. Milk's good for you. You're not a kid anymore.
Milk, 'cause you're not a kid anymore.
Kid anymore.
At Burger King, we don't serve billions, we serve individuals.
This individual sometimes wants a really good deli sandwich.
Great idea. At Burger King?
Tell us, what do you say?
Roast beef, hot, real hot.
Maybe not. How about turkey, tender and juicy?
Mix it up.
Hot ham and cheese, please!
With 4 new deli sandwiches, there's no right way, no wrong way. Just your way, right away.
And make it snappy to go!
Your way, right away, at Burger King now.
It is 47-39. Rochester John Marshall leading Anoka as we begin the fourth quarter at Williams Arena. Winner of this game will meet Duluth Central tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the St. Paul Civic Center. As you look at the Anoka bench and head coach Dave Tank. Official third quarter stats have Anoka shooting 45% from the field, 47% for John Marshall. Pump once, pump twice. Third time charm for Anoka. 47-41. It's a 6-point lead now for John Marshall with 7:37 to go.
Tampa, what can you say about the persistence on that bucket? He made it happen.
The Anoka bench was desperate to let the referee know they thought he was fouled taking that shot. Put up by Clark Swenson, no. Underneath Curtis turning, that won't go. And here's Mark Lovelace, the point guard. Swenson squares off, three-pointer, no. And it's pulled off by Matt Adler of Anoka. Very early in the fourth quarter, the Anoka Tornadoes trail again by 6. They have closed it to 5 in this half, but that's as close as the Tornadoes have come. Bigger chipper, Novotny. And Novotny.
Give Beckman some credit there for spotting the situation and getting the ball to his big man in a position where they can do some business.
12 points now for Anoka's Dan Novotny, and it's a 4-point game. This is the closest it's been. 6:45 to go in the game.
Oh, Swenson.
Offensive foul.
He lowered that shoulder.
Swenson went to the baseline.
He wanted to create some room for himself to take that little jumper, and that's 3 on him. Let's take a look here. He's working against Adler, and boom, he's got the shoulder down. And Anoka will work against the pressure with a chance to cut it to 2 or 1 if they bomb a 3-pointer. And here's Solheim. Check this substitution and see if that rallies the Rockets, because he's down there as the protector of the low post. And Anoka's gotten 2 easy baskets inside when he wasn't in the game.
It's a full-court game now. Lovelace pestering Troy Beckman. And now here is Aaron Hatempa with a left-handed dribble. Double teamed and out now for Beckman. 47-43. Anoka scores now. It's really going to explode the Anoka section, because that'll make it a 2-pointer. Underneath and they score. It's Aaron Hatempa. Now it's 47-42 with 6:05 to go. 47-45 rather. 6 points for Hatempa, and now Rochester John Marshall coach Jeff Wells wants high. The Anoka Tornadoes are twisted back with 5:56 to go. It's Rochester John Marshall 47, Anoka 45. We'll be right back.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. A dream I move. A dream I groove.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. I'm gonna be like Mike. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. Be like Mike. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. Be like.
Menards is featuring big savings in our hardware department. Add more life to your car with Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. It's designed to give your engine complete protection. Just 79 cents per quart after mail-in rebate. And the Sonnen CalcuTape combination measuring tool is on sale now. It's 5 handy tools in one. Just $4.99 after mail-in rebate coupon. Check out the savings this week at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Well, it's very close. 5:56 to play. Rochester Jam with a 12-point lead at the half. It's down to 2. Anoka with some strength and also some finesse. Thank you. Hatempa going to the bucket, taking a nice pass. And Beckman continues to impress with his court vision for the Tornadoes.
It is 47-45. Actually, Jeff Wells, the Rockets coach, told us last night he expected a high-scoring game against Anoka. I mean, you look at the numbers, this Rochester John Marshall team is a team that averages 75 points a game. They really put it up. Mark Lovelace. Dragged away by Dan Novotny of Anoka. Pressure in the backcourt on Troy Beckman. Guarded by Lovelace as they come down. 5.5 to go. Anoka with the ball. have narrowed it to a 2-point lead. For Tampa, picked away by Brent Solheim of Rochester. John Marshall, 15th turnover unofficially on Anoka. Swenson for Sears, for Lovelace, inside, dished right, Swenson popped it. Lovelace to the baseline, lost the ball to Dan Novotny.
Well, some good defense being played out here, Doug. These teams are really after it.
Troy Beckman for the Anoka Tornadoes, 47-45. John Marshall leads by 2, 4:51 to go in the game. Underneath Novotny, and it's not going to drop.
Boy, Dave Tank did a little tornado move himself there.
I thought he was coming in there and sit with us for a minute there. He was so unhappy that it didn't drop. The foul is on Brent Solheim.
There again, Beckman with the sweet pass inside, and that is going to be the 4th foul on Solheim. Scoreboard has 3, so we'll double check that.
Call it 3, apparently.
Well, the official stat sheet had 2 at the half, and I know we've seen 2. He had that block on the solo. That was called.
It's a 1-point game now with 4:46 to go. They double-checked. He does have 4. Scoreboard was wrong. We're right. We're right. That's why we got Kevin Coughlin here for. That's how we pay the big money, to get the big-time numbers.
One more will bring the maroon and gray up to their feet behind us.
Yeah, you'll hear it. We're sitting right in their section. 4:46 to go. Dan Novotny can tie the game for the Anoka Tornadoes. 47-47. He has now 14 points today. 4:41 to go. No bucket, but the foul underneath.
Oh, Lovelace, nice backdoor play, counting on the over-aggressiveness, and he really should have just taken it up strong to the board, but Anoka is so intimidating. Look, he's got that room there. He should glide to the glass, but he pulled up. That's 4 on Beckman. Well, that's also big. So 2 guys that have to exercise great caution out there, and Dave Tank has pulled Beckman over, as you can see, saying, hey, you got to worry about. You're our guy on offense that gets everything going. We can't get too aggressive on defense. And Solheim still in the game for the Rockets, also with 4. So not only do they both have 4, they're both in there with 4:33 to play as Lovelace makes the first.
Mark Lovelace, the senior point guard of the Rockets. 49-47. 11 points now for Lovelace. Right out of the trap. Downey pass. Here's the break. Novotny. Inside, Hart Tampa had it knocked away as Lovelace made some contact. It simply went out of bounds, and the ball will be retained by the Anoka Tornadoes, who trail now by 2 with 4:24 to go. It's a thriller. Here's Brian Dowdy now for Beckman. Both these teams have had some big games this year. John Marshall, the Big 9 co-champ with a 15-1 conference record, pulls the ball back. Mark Swenson, that's 16 turnovers on Anoka, 8 on John Marshall unofficially.
So back from 12 to a tie, and now JM with a chance to go up by more than the 2.
Swenson.
Boy, did Adler hold his ground well there.
Matt Adler, and boy, that's a fine piece of judgment, too, to do that. Anybody can do it, but doing it without drawing a foul, that's the tough part.
Here he comes, Swenson, head fake, as all the Rochester players seem to be doing, but Adler's learning. He's been faked off his feet a couple of times, but he kind of used his teammate there for help.
Tampa, yeah, did you notice that? He was bracing himself off at Tampa there. If he's going to have his balance go the wrong way, you can't get fouled hitting your own guy. Aaron at Tampa. On the break, Adler, no! And the foul's going to go underneath on Rochester. John Marshall's Brent Solheim.
That's Solheim, he's done. There you see Hatempa gets it over to Mr. Adler. Now Swenson makes the first block. Now let's watch as Adler comes in there, and Solheim was across the wrist.
That's it. That's 5 on Brent Solheim of Rochester. John Marshall, he will foul out with 3 minutes 44 seconds to go and 8 points on the game. Solheim fouls out into the lineup now. Scott Conant, number 50, will check in. It's a 1-1 for Anoka's Matt Adler, and another chance to tie this game with the Tornadoes trailing 49-47 and 3:44 to go. Anoka, which has been so solid, as I mentioned, with 42 home wins this year, has already beat 2 other state tournament teams, Creighton and Duluth Central this year. Trailing now by 2, 1-1 to Adler. There's no bonus.
Question that JM's back on their heels right now. You look at that bench, you see quite a bit of sag. They had the momentum, and it looked like they were just too quick for Anoka. But boy, some real aggressive play, and the strength of Anoka has helped them get back in it.
It's tied on 2 clutch free throws by Matt Adler, who has 14 points today. 49-49, 3:39 to go in the game. Waiting in the wings, the Duluth Central Trojans for the winner of this contest, which wasn't that close for a good while there in the second, early third quarter. Anoka's come bouncing back, and it's the game. 49 all. Rochester, John Marshall with the basketball. Loveless for Mark Swenson. Driving on Adler. Short. Underneath Swenson again. Hooked it in. Counted. And there's a foul on Anoka's Troy Beckman.
He's gone.
Troy Beckman will get the foul. The bucket will count.
Well, that was very close to another offensive foul on Swenson. The whistle didn't blow. Back he comes with that great maneuverability. Scores, and Beckman trying to come and help on the backside. Picks up his fifth.
So Troy Beckman fouls out for Anoka with 3 minutes, 11 seconds left to play. In comes Chad Roswick, a 6'3" junior guard. And off the game is Troy Beckman.
Well, he's very
He has 4 points on the day.
Walking right in front of us, but he played a whale of a ball game. What a floor leader.
Oh, yeah. He owns their single season assist record, their single game assist record. A forward turned point guard, Troy Beckman, fouls out. At the line now for Rochester, John Marshall, Mark Swenson. 51-49, John Marshall leading by 2. 3:05 to go. Anoka's Aaron Hatempa. Double team. Novotny has it. Over the tree, he's got it. And Dan Novotny makes it a 51-51 ball game. With 2:49 to go, Novotny has 16 points. Lovelace for Rochester, John Marshall. Inside to Curtis. Floats in. Brett Curtis makes it 53-51, and now the Rockets lead again by 2.
Well, this is a tough game to officiate because you got a lot of big guys making contact. And
Hatempa ties it again. Here we go. 2:21 to go. 106 points on the scoreboard. Evenly divided at 53 right now. With Jim Gilliland, Doug McLeod at Williams Arena, the second Class AA quarterfinal game of the day. Rochester, John Marshall, and Anoka going at it. John Marshall's Brett Curtis no. Rebound to Conan won't go. And it comes off to Anoka's Matt Adler.
Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Anoka. There's no question that without Solheim, Anoka is the superior inside team right now. So those first shots have to count for Rochester AM.
Now Dave Tank of Anoka is going to burn a timeout with 2 minutes exactly to go in the game. 53-53. Buckle your seatbelts. We'll be right back.
Buongiorno. I love being in Italy. It reminds me so much of the old USA. With the deluxe bowling alleys, the high-rises, even drive-through restaurants. I myself am enjoying one of the true specialties of Italian cuisine, the New York strip. Perfecto. Well, as they say in Italian, ciao. Beef, real food in Little Italy, New York.
They're called program cars, daily rental. Some people call them smart because they offer the remaining factory warranty for thousands less than a new car. Call them what you will. Miller has over 800 1991 program cars from Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors. All with remaining factory warranties, all priced thousands less than new. 20 for $59.99, 35 for $69.99, and 100 for $79.99 at Miller Auto Center.
Aaron Hatempa on the move here for Anoka as they were trailing by 2 points a moment ago. He beat Lovelace up the floor and then, boom, pulls up. Why not? He took a check down low, see if any of the big guys are breaking, and then popped it through cleanly. And Anoka will have the ball with 2 minutes left. It'll be interesting to see if they try to hold. Without their floor leader Beckman in there, it might be tough.
Nice squared off pull-up shot with 1:57 to go now. 53-53 ball game. Anoka with the ball. Aaron at Tampa, double team. It's a half-court game at the moment. Novotny pestered, wormed out of it as he covers the ball and holds on very well. Big guy is Dan Novotny, 6'5", senior, lots of experience. Matt Adler, triple team. He'll dish it to Dowdy. Go to the left side. Tampa, under 90 seconds to go, rims out. Adler tied up, out of bounds. Anoka's ball. 53-53 with 1:22 to go.
Well, up here, Anoka right now, putting it on the board and go getting it is not a bad strategy. Solheim's not in there.
Here's Chad Roswick to put it in. Dowdy works up high with Swenson right on it. But Tampa with 1:13 to go. Underneath they go. Novotny. 55-53 with 1:08 to play. Anoka now leads by 2.
Rodney's so strong in there.
Last minute of play. Swenson goes inside. It's going to go to Anoka. And now John Marshall's Jeff Wells wants a timeout. 50.5 seconds to play. It is now Anoka 55, Rochester, John Marshall 53. Get a little oxygen. We'll be right back.
Hello?
Who's that, honey?
It's TCF. They want to know what to give people over 50.
Tell them free checking with interest. Free checks. Credit card protection. Maybe travel discounts and travel insurance.
Did you get all that?
And a Harley.
They'll go for everything but the motorcycle.
Club 50 from TCF. Banking the way you want it.
Come on, Raisin Bran is Raisin Bran. What's this? Total Raisin Bran, huh? Big crisp flakes, lots of raisins. This is amazing. Total Raisin Bran has 100% of lots of vitamins and minerals. And Kellogg's has only 1. I'm surprised.
Total Raisin Bran. The Raisin Bran with the total difference.
I just assumed they were all the same, but they're not.
Anoka leads it by 2. They've got the ball, and Rochester will come with everything in their arsenal trying to get it back here.
That's Dave Tank, the head coach of the Anoka Tornadoes, in the striped shirt there. It has been a long game for the Tornadoes. They lead by 2. They have the ball in the backcourt. 45 seconds to go. Lovelace trying to foul a Tampa or get the ball. Didn't do either.
He had the ball pinned there. And
there's the foul on Lovelace the second time.
That's the guy they want, I'm pretty sure. Just because he hasn't been in the game much, Roswick will go to the line. He came in to replace Beckman when he fouled out. And Adler's talked to him, and Roswick go, hey, me? Hey, of course I'm going to make it.
37.8 seconds to go. And Chad Roswick, who has not been to the line and really hasn't been much in the game today until just very recently with the foul out, will shoot 1 and 1 for Anoka, leading by 2. Rebound to Rochester, John Marshall's Brett Curtis. Mark Lovelace brings the Rockets down for maybe the last time in the game. What they do now could decide what happens. Swenson inside is fouled. With 26.3 seconds to go in the game, the foul is going to be on Matt Adler.
Let's see as Adler comes along there, just kind of clips him as he's moving, trying to keep good position, but it's a 1-and-1 situation. So not any sure thing. Swenson hasn't shot free throws that well so far today.
Second foul Here is Mark Swenson to shoot 1 and 1. His team trailing by 2 with 26.3 to go. He's 0 for 1 today.
Oh. Terrific pressure on these kids.
Sorry, it must have been a 2-shot foul.
Yeah, it must have.
I thought they indicated 1 and 1. Team fouls are 7 aside.
Good point there, Doug. I thought it was a shooting foul. Or a 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. It's a shooting foul.
Well, doesn't matter now. Swenson.
This could make it a 1-point game for Mark Swenson. Drops it right through. 26.3 to go. Now 55-54. Anoka by 1. Of course, the clock will stop immediately. Now we're...
Real good work by the Rockets, though. A double team, arm straight up, push your way in. You can't call anything but a 1-on-1 situation. Doughty will go to the line.
That is the 4th foul.
Swenson has 4, Lovelace 3, so it really didn't matter. They each had 3 in that situation. But they obviously the 2 main offensive threats left for the Rockets, with Silheim having fouled out. Although Curtis averages in double figures also, number 32. Well, Doughty now with a 1 and 1.
Ryan Doughty is 4 for 5 at the line today with 24.7 seconds to go. His team leads by 1. By 2. Bonus in effect on the 1 and 1. It's 56-54 Anoka. 24.7 seconds to go. Ryan Doughty, the junior forward. Their only returning starter. The bonus. Doesn't go. Rebound to Adler. Big rebound to Adler, who's fouled right away, of course, by Craig Sears.
We have a couple of smart ball clubs here, because Adler, the easy thing would have been try to put it up. You're bigger than everybody on the floor, but...
Well, you know what they've got to do if he's
he
got
pulled it right back out smartly, run some clock, go to the line.
Make them foul it. Look at this.
And then Rochester, John Marshall, immediate fouls, doing the things they have to do to put the percentage back in their favor.
56-54, Anoka by 2. 21.7 to go. Anoka's Matt Adler is 2 for 2. That won't go. Rockets have the ball. Curtis, here they come, down by 2. 15 seconds to go. Mark Lovelace for the ground. Marshall Rockets. Swenson tip. Retrieved by Mark Swenson. 8 seconds to go. He'll get 1 blocking foul on Anoka.
Oh boy, that's tough. Swenson is very aggressive, and he's got that arm extended every time he drives, and that, really could have gone either way. Tempo gets the call, and Swenson, who was disconsolate a moment ago because he missed the chance to tie it with the 1. Watch him here. He's got that arm out.
Tempo slid the leg there.
Yeah, he's moving too, so that's a very tough call. I don't blame any official. And Swenson now, who had a 1-on-1 a moment ago, 2 shots a moment ago, missed the front end. Now he's got a 1-on-1, and he's going to have a lot to think about here during this timeout. And Jeff Wells, I'm sure, will try to calm his senior captain, who is in a very tough spot here now.
Anoka's Dave Tank is the one who took the timeout with 8.2 seconds to go in the game. 56-54, Anoka leads by 2. Rochester John Marshall had led by as much as 14 points at one point in this game. Anoka had a fair-sized lead early, 6 or 8 points. But now it's a 2-point lead for the Tornadoes with 8.2 seconds to go. I don't know if we can hear anything in the John Marshall huddle or not. Let's see if we can. Apparently not.
The Rochester John Marshall band, of course, whooping it up, not letting the microphones pick up what Jeff Wells is imparting to his youngsters. And it's mostly words of assurance right now, because number 40's got the dirty work to do. He's got to knock down the 1-and-1. Mark Swenson.
Mark Swenson at the free throw line for the Rochester John Marshall Rockets. The term clutch free throw was coined for this. His team down by 2 with 8.2 seconds to play. Mark Swenson is 0 for 2 today. At the line, he is shooting 1-and-1 for Rochester John Marshall. Jump ball.
Who is it?
Jump ball.
Oh,
it's going to go to the
ball.
Rockets. Remember now, in high school, the alternating possession rule is in effect on jump balls, so there's no judgment involved.
Swenson's upset with himself, and Lovelace right over there to call him and said, hey, you'll get this one.
Now timeout is called by John Marshall coach Jeff Wells. 6 seconds exactly to play in the game, or at least your Rochester John Marshall in regulation time. 56-54, Anoka by 2. That, needless to say, is the John Marshall booster section, although only down by 2, and 6 seconds could be an eternity.
Yeah, they don't look real hopeful there, but they have reason to be. They got a lot of offensive players. Here's Dave Tank talking. Let's see.
Wells in the John Marshall huddle.
I might let Lovelace drive this time and take a whack in the three-point area. It's awfully hard to hear there with that band on that end.
6 seconds exactly to go. It is Anoka 56, Rochester John Marshall 54. The possession after that jump ball, alternate possession rule, goes to Rochester John Marshall. Mark Lovelace will inbound the ball. Here we go.
Another foul call.
Foul right away is the Rockets' Brett Curtis. Went up for it. Chad Roswick was there.
Take a look, right in traffic. Curtis comes breaking to the bucket, and they collapse on him. Adler. No, they're going to give it to Roswick.
I believe it's on Roswick. And it is, and that is his second. Chad Roswick now with 4.8 seconds to go. Somebody get me my medicine. Here we go. Curtis has not been to the free throw line today. He has 4 points. 60% shooter from the field, but now Brett Curtis shoots 2 with under 5 seconds to go. It's a 1-point game. 56-55 Anoka. Rochester John Marshall's junior forward Brett Curtis will now shoot the biggest free throw of his life so far with 4.8 seconds to go. It goes up for Curtis.
Oh, my word.
Tipped in. It's over. It's over, and the Anoka Tornadoes have come back to win this game by 1 point, literally at the horn. 56-55. You got to wonder, the survivor of this game, you got to wonder who's they're going to have left for Duluth Central tomorrow night. Wow.
That was a great ball game.
Yeah.
Oh, what a finish. And Anoka's sides finally won it for them. They weren't able to get control of the ball at the end there, but with that timber, they just kept poking it up in the air, keeping the loose ball, and that's all they needed because they had the 1-point edge.
Well, sir, that is it. A 1-point thriller on our Menard scoreboard. The final, the Anoka Tornadoes 56, the Rochester John Marshall Rockets 55. It's Anoka and Duluth Central in the semis tomorrow night. We'll be right back.
From Don Bluth, director of An American Tale and The Land Before Time, comes a magical tale of a kid who becomes a kitten.
Seafood, I'm a cat.
And a rooster who becomes a rock star.
Let me be your rooster.
Together, these hometown friends become heroes.
We're gonna go back and get him.
Stop those birds! You gotta crow, and you gotta crow now.
It's this year's animation sensation, Rock-a-Doodle, rated G. Starts April 3rd at theaters everywhere.
Feel of the road, the look of the sky, view of the world as it passes by.
The 1992 Mercury Grand Marquis, one of our best sellers for a lot of reasons. V8 power, full-size comfort, available dual airbag protection, and ABS brakes, making the quietest Grand Marquis even better.
All this in the quality of
this thing is finally in the books, and it turned out to be a one-point thriller, even though Rochester John Marshall had led, as we mentioned, by I think as much as about 14 points in this game. It winds up 56-55. Anoka literally at the last second. What a game.
And what a way to win if you're a Tornado fan. You're down 12 at the half, down by as many as 8 late in the third quarter. It looked like the Rockets had too much quickness, but there was a lot of heart on that Anoka team. And I know it's an overused phrase, but they showed a lot of it today in their comeback.
They sure did. They've beat some big teams this year, including 2 other state tournament teams in St. Paul, or rather in Duluth Central and in Creighton. So they've certainly been in some key situations. They got by Mounds View with 0.2 seconds left to go in their section semi. So the Tornadoes are no strangers to clutch situations. Our Twin City Federal play of the game is the last field goal that went in this game.
It gave Anoka a 2-point lead. Matt Adler working the high post, gets the taller defenders out, dumps it down to Dan Novotny, who we said is the hard hat fella, and he made it work. Brought to you by TCF, the bank that's open 7 days a week at most Cub food stores.
That was the field goal by Dan Novotny with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. From then on, it was clutch free throw situation after clutch free throw situation, but that was the last one from the field. Novotny made the big one, and fittingly, I think he's the one who led the celebration here. He and Dave Tank, the coach, embracing each other at the end of the game.
It really hurt Rochester JM to lose Brent Solheim, because he offered a man to combat. He's great leaping ability at 6'6". Adler and Novotny, they kind of ruled the inside after Solheim left the game.
It's over, and the first semifinal game tomorrow night at the Civic Center at 7 o'clock is set now. It's Duluth Central against Anoka after the Anoka Tornadoes pull off a heart-stopper, 56-55 over Rochester John Marshall. Stay with us. State Tournament 92 continues in just a moment.
Man. My dad taught me everything I know about cars. He only got one thing wrong. He never told me to bring my car to CarX for brakes.
Yeah, I always went some other place.
These guys are real pros. I get quality parts and a lifetime guarantee on my shoes and pads.
Well, I always went some other place.
Dad, do you think you get expert work like this for so little at some other place?
What other place?
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom. Don't worry, call the CarX man.
My husband Mark and I planned on a lot of things. A nice house, sending our son to college, and a comfortable retirement. We didn't plan on his early death. Mark made a lot of promises.
Don't worry, Mom, I'll study hard.
And you know, he kept those promises.
Protect your family's dreams. See a Farm Bureau agent about life insurance. The Farm Bureau family. Our most important policy is caring.
Here we go, 56-55. The Anoka Tornadoes in a thriller by 1 over the Rochester John Marshall Rockets here at Williams Arena. We showed you a moment ago our play of the game was the last 2-pointer of the game by either team. It was Dan Novotny with 1:05 to go. Now, on our player of the game, we got to go right back to number 53 in a white uniform.
Yeah, I know why Novotny and Adler wear those goggles now, because they're going to go to war in there, and they don't want anybody getting their way, a little finger or something like that. They're going to do anything they can to get that ball off the board. Dan Novotny, American Dairy Association player of the game with those 18 points and 9 rebounds. He will receive a certificate and cash donation sent in his name to Anoka High School on behalf of the Minnesota dairy farmers. So remind you, milk does a body good. Dan Novotny, congratulations to him.
Indeed so, and to the Anoka Tornadoes, but the Rochester John Marshall Rockets, you folks down there have seen a fine basketball team this year, and no question about it. The co-champions of the Big Nine Conference, 15-1 this year, and had some good size and a good ball club. But it's Anoka into the semis tomorrow night against Duluth Central, which won in the opening game of our AA quarterfinal bracket here this afternoon, 53-40. Well, that's it for this afternoon. We will be back with 4, count them 4, or at least parts of 4 more basketball games here tonight as our coverage of the tournament continues. We will be back from the St. Paul Civic Center tonight for the Class A games between Lackaparle Valley and Austin Pacelli and Minnewaska area and Gibbon, Fairfax, Winthrop. And then Jim and I will be back here at the University for Cretin-Derham Hall, the defending AA champs against undefeated Chaska. What a game that should be. And the Moorhead Spuds. You liked them in hockey, you'll like them in basketball. We'll be here against a very good Minneapolis South team in our second AA quarter tonight. Final score again in this one, the Anoka Tornadoes 56, the Rochester John Marshall Rockets 55. Now for Jim Gilliland, this is Doug McLeod. So long from Williams Arena.
The 1992 Minnesota State High School Boys Basketball Tournament has been brought to you by TCF Bank, banking the way you want it. By Menards, helping families build America's heartland for 32 years. Save big money at Menards. By the American Dairy Association, on behalf of Minnesota's dairy farmers, who remind you, milk does a body good. By beef producers throughout the Minnesota Beef Council. By the Farm Bureau family of financial planning services, where belonging makes a difference. By Vanville, from Sandoz Crop Protection, control from day one. Minnesota Blue Flame Gas Association and your local root dealers. Burger King, your way, right away. We don't serve billions, we serve individuals. By Gatorade, it's all you're thirsting for. And by work.
Because it tastes great.
You don't just have to have it in the morning. Peel it or slice it like you would an orange. As a snack, it packs a light, refreshing taste. You just can't beat it.
Get fresh Florida grapefruit, just $1 for 2 pounds this week at Jubilee and IGA stores.
You don't just have to have it in the morning.
It's one of those nights. Let's get busy.
One of those nights.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Weeknights at 10:35 on Receptive Channel 9. Thanks for watching KMSP Receptive Channel 9.
The 1992 Minnesota State High School Boys Basketball Tournament is brought to you by TCF Bank, banking the way you want it. By Menards, helping families build America's heartland for 32 years. Save big money at Menards. By the American Dairy Association, on behalf of Minnesota dairy farmers, who remind you, milk does a body good. By beef producers throughout the Minnesota Beef Council. By the Farm Bureau family of financial planning services, where belonging makes a difference. By Banville, from Sandoz Crop Protection, control from day one. Minnesota Blue Flame Gas Association and your local root dealers. Burger King, your way, right away. We don't serve billions, we serve individuals. By Gatorade, it's all you're thirsting for. And by DuPont, the post-program picky people pick.
Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is Class AA semifinal coverage of the 1992 Boys High School Basketball Tournament. Now, KMSP Sports Director Perry Williams.
A very pleasant Friday evening to you all, live from the St. Paul Civic Center. This is the 1992 Minnesota State High School Boys Basketball Tournament, where tonight Class AA teams will take the court and battle for a spot in the state championship game. We have AA semifinals for you tonight, live from the Civic Center in St. Paul. Hello again, everybody. I'm Perry Williams. Thank you for joining us. The AA teams were at Williams Arena on the campus of the University of Minnesota yesterday. They have relocated tonight for AA semifinal action, and as I said, a shot at advancing to the championship game tomorrow. Already a couple Class A semifinal games played here this afternoon. De La Salle winning a thriller over Rocori by 1. The Islanders have reached the championship game. They will face the surprising Shamrocks of Austin Pacelli for the Class A title tomorrow afternoon here at the Civic Center in St. Paul. But tonight, it's AA teams that we will feature for you with the semifinal bracket. Now let's go courtside, and your announcers for tonight, Doug McLeod, Jim Gilliland, and Jenna Carvin. Doug?
All right, Perry, as we get set for our first game tonight, it's going to be a couple of teams that came out of very different games, Jim, last night. Anoka starting against Duluth Central. Central beat Eden Prairie by a score of 53-40, but Anoka survived a thriller with Rochester John Marshall.
Yes, Doug, a Final Four year in Minnesota, and I think this Final Four is something special, and all four teams with legitimately a chance to win. We're going to start with Anoka and Duluth Central, as you mentioned. Both played outstanding games yesterday, and a lot of people thought we'd be seeing JM and Chaska in the finals, and they're going to play in the consolation title game, so it's anybody's ball game.
Janet Cretan-Durham Hall, the defending state champion. Len Horizons got him right back here again against the Moorhead Spuds.
That's right, Doug. I think there's a lot of pressure on them, though. Although they were able to knock off an undefeated Chaska team yesterday, I think there's a lot of pressure on them to maintain that record. Moorhead could be a team that could beat them. Corey Zimmerman had 27 points yesterday. They have a very balanced team from Chuck Galsvig and the Moorhead crew.
So, Perry, that's how it shapes up tonight as we swing into the AA semifinal bracket.
Okay, gang, get ready to go. It's AA basketball semifinals, wall-to-wall basketball for you. Continuing here in just moments, we'll tip it off our Class AA semifinal action tonight.
Come on, Raisin Bran is Raisin Bran. What's this? Total Raisin Bran, huh? Big crisp flakes, lots of raisins. This is amazing. Total Raisin Bran has 100% of lots of vitamins and minerals. And Kellogg's has only one. I'm surprised.
Total Raisin Bran, the Raisin Bran with the total difference.
I just assumed they were all the same, but they're not.
There's only one place where pets and people shop together. Hello, Dick Myers for PFW, the original pet food warehouse. Right now, Science Diet is throwing in the towel. Get a free grooming towel when you buy the food veterinarians recommend 3-to-1 over any other brand. We'll be using 4 Paws Instant Dry Shampoo to make your dog smell fresh. All proceeds benefit Canine Companions for Independence.
All my friends know the low rider.
PFW, where our customers have a nose for value.
The low.
With a luxury car like the new J30 from Infiniti, you may be expected to drive with a certain decorum in public. What you do behind closed doors, however, is your own business. The new Infiniti J30 makes you want to take up driving again, doesn't it?
Mr. Murray?
Yeah?
Mr. Murray, this is TCF. If you could change the way banks do business, what would you change?
Maybe make it easier for people to get a loan.
How would you do that?
Maybe let people apply by phone instead of coming in.
And how much do you need, Mr. Murray?
Geez,
TCF, banking the way you want it.
And here we go into the semifinal bracket in Class AA as we open the evening session with the Anoka Tornadoes and the Duluth Central Trojans. Welcome back along with Jim Gilliland. This is Doug McLeod. We are ready to meet the starting lineups for tonight's game. Here's public address announcer Dick Stanford.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a change in your program. Please turn to page 31 and the Anoka lineup, and please make the following addition to your game program. At player number 25, Eric LeCure, and he is a 5'10" sophomore guard. LeCure, number 25, to the Tornado lineup. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for the first of our 2 AA semifinal boys basketball games of the evening. And our first game match is the champions of Section 7, the Duluth Central Trojans, with a record of 20-6. And the champions of Section 4 with a record of 23-3, the Tornadoes from Anoka. And now here are your starting lineups for Duluth Central at forward, 6'3" senior, number 32, Don Ness. At forward for Anoka, 6'5" junior, number 45, Brian Dowdy. At forward for the Trojans, 6'3" junior number 44, Isaac Effinger. At forward for the Tornadoes, 6'5" senior number 53, Dan Novotny. At center for Central, 6'4" sophomore number 50, Dave Burnson. At center for Anoka, 6'7" junior number 51, Matt Adler. At guard for the Trojans, 6'3" junior number 34, Todd Hansen. At guard for the Tornadoes, 6'5" senior number 33, Troy Beckman. At guard for Duluth Central, 6'3" junior number 40, Eric Reinertsen. At guard for Anoka, 6'3" senior number 35, Aaron Hatampa. The head coach of the Trojans is Mike Zwak. The head coach of the Tornadoes is Dave Tank. And your officials for this semifinal game are Jim Pearson and Ron Hammond. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise and join in singing as the Duluth Central High School Band, under the direction of Charles Leibfried, leads us in our national anthem.